Hello friends! I'm super excited to share with you guys today a homeschool haul for next year. If you are new here, my name is Lisa and I am a homeschool mama of 5. On this channel, I share our large family grocery hauls for our family of 7 and some homeschool content as well. If you're new here, I have been using Memoria Press, classical Christian curriculum, and I've been using it for 7 years now, the whole time that we have been homeschooling. I knew that when we started homeschooling, I didn't want to be switching in and out of curriculums all the time, trying to find the new best thing. I wanted to do one that I felt was really solid and good and stick with it and make it work for each child. And so I've done that, and I feel very good about classical education, and it's important to me and to my husband as well. We wanted to do something better for our kids than what we got, and so that's kind of how we started with Memoria Press, and it has been a huge blessing to us. I'm actually going to share what we got for next year. I have children that have dyslexia, like I do, and children that have some ADHD and things like that. And so if you haven't checked out Memoria Press, they're simply classical part of their curriculum. You should definitely check it out. It's for children with special needs, children that go at a slower pace or things like that. And if there's just one subject that they're struggling with, I would recommend even just like talking with them and seeing if maybe that's an option for that subject that they're struggling with, that they're weak in. It's just been really good for my boys who work at slower pace. So yeah, I'm going to share with you what we got for next year. So I have a little bit of I have Memoria Press, and then I also have some other books on the end of this video. If you don't want to be a part of that part of the video, that's fine. But I'm going to share some books that help you talk about the birds and the bees with your children and their bodies growing up and growing and things like that. So from a Christian perspective, I'm going to share those books with you. I'm going to be very PG about it. I'm just going to share the book title, and then you can take a look at it. But I'm going to go ahead and start with Memoria Press. The first box I got, I actually ordered this a little while ago, and then I knew again that I was going to order some more things, so I've kind of been on and off about where they should be with certain things. My kiddos that are using Simply Classical and the core curriculum as well. So, so we got that figured out. If you ever have questions about where you should place them for different things, they are great for Memoria Press with like helping you get figure out where they should be. So first thing I did get, and this is for my 6th grader, and also it says, let's see, I can't remember which grades this one is for, but it's the book 3, Myself and Others, and we've done the other ones for this. So this is basically lessons for social understanding, habits, and manners, which we just need more of in our house. So I really, really like this one. We'll see if I can kind of, this is for ages 7 to 10. So he's 11, but we're going to do this one, and then we're going to do the next one up, which is Myself and Others, book 4, and then that's the last of the Myself and Others books on habits and manners and all that. So basically there's some reading each day, and then there's a core thing that they're learning and moral for this one. So the littler kids books, I can show those to you if you'd like to see those. It's just very good for building good character and kind of encouraging you and how you should do that a little bit. So of course you're probably going to want to do more than just these books, because this is only, I think, 12 weeks or something like that, but it's a good start at 14 weeks. But it's a good starting place to talk about those kinds of things like social understanding, habits, and manners. But like I said, there's a moral to each week. So week 1, you work on do not let anything turn you from your purpose. And so you have this book, and then you have some other books that go along with this one. So this is kind of like how you do it. teacher's manual, I guess you could say. And then there's healthy Healthy Happy Habits is one of the other books. And this one is a very old book on manners. I really, really like it a lot. So it talks about what a habit is, and there's just some fun activities in there, some exercises, but things like rules of the road, safety on the road, safety on a playground, safety at home, safety on the farm, some different things like that. They're just really good. Mealtime manners, things like that. So if you're interested in manners, check this one out. This one's really good. And then the other ones that came with it, I didn't actually already had this book from previous Memoria Press hauls, but this one's called A Penny's Worth of Character. And that one is one of the ones that you read with this manners set. And then the other two books that go with that one are the Aesop's Fables for Children. And there's actually an MP3 download for this one too. So that's really, really neat. And there's just some really good morals in there that they focus on with what you're learning. So there's also an Aesop's copy book for each one. So basically they're copying the moral of their story that they're learning for that week at the end of the week. That's all they're doing. It's not super, super complicated. There's a picture of that story, the Aesop's fable that they learned that week. Then there's in cursive, because it's an older grade, you'll write that moral there. And then it says down here, describe in your own words the lesson from this fable. And so there's some other words that you could use, but they would learn how to write their own sentence about the fable. So that's what that one looks like. And we are in great need of manners and habit training here. Another thing that I got that's already up on our wall actually is our alphabet manuscript and cursive poster that we had got torn up as we were moving, so I needed a new one, but that's what it looks like. It has the manuscript above and then the cursive below, so it's really been helpful for my kids that are learning cursive and even my kids who are not. So we have that. Then guide for levels 7 and 8. This one is for kind of the grades that my oldest is in. So for 7 and 8, it is ages 11 to 14. So like I said, they go more like by levels for the Simply Classical than grades. And so I'm going to use this for my oldest for some of the recitation and things like that, because he's pretty much in the same level. We're doing a lot of the same things that they're doing in this level because we had a really tough start with his dyslexia and things like that. We've gotten to where his grade level is by using Barton for his spelling and reading, so I'm pretty excited about that this year. But he still needs some help with his spelling and things like that. And so we're kind of a little behind in some areas, if you want to look at it that way. But I think he is going to do great, and he's making so much progress. He's put a lot of hard work into it. So, and so have I. So anyways, this is the Simply Classical curriculum, level 7 through 8. Again, it's the same. If you've seen the core curriculum, it's the same as that, but then with the Simply Classical, there's a whole list of hands-on type things, supplies that you might need. And then there's just simpler math quizzes in the back than what the core curriculum has, which is definitely beneficial. So far he's been doing pretty good with those, but there's some other things in here, Latin, and then like I said, the recitation is more at his level, which is what we need. So he has a hard time memorizing stuff, which is just fine, but that's why I needed this book. I may go along and do something similar, but I'm gonna do some things a little bit different. So, okay, so the other thing that I got is My Side of the Mountain, which is part of the Simply Classical for that level, for the level 7 and 8. We are actually already reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and Hatchet, so he's kind of like in 2 books. We're going to try to focus on just The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe first. But those books, our goal is to finish them this next year and continue his Barton, because he's making so much progress with that. We are in level 4. It's a difficult level, and then level 5 is supposed to be kind of like a breeze. So we're going to continue on with that, and hopefully in the next couple of years we'll be done with our Barton and he won't need any more of that. So we'll be able to just go on grade level at that point. But right now we are using, my side of the mountain is on this level, and it is supposed to be about this boy surviving in the wilderness. And so that is right up his alley. So I saw this one on there and I thought, we really need this. So we probably won't do a whole lot of writing in this. I got the teacher's guide. That's how they have you do it. We'll probably do more of discussion questions and things out loud, since he already does his writing in some other areas. And I'll explain that here in a second. But too much writing for him can be a little bit stressful, and most of my boys, honestly. So I've taken the writing down quite a bit. So that's how we do it. But for this one, so for the teacher's guide, you'll have which is really important. So if you don't do all the writing, but you just want to do the vocabulary, like there's reading notes, vocabulary, comprehension questions, quotes, discussion questions, and then some enrichment. I think that all those things are beneficial, even if your child can't do all of the writing part of the comprehension questions. And even if you were to try to go by the whole core for each literature guide, a lot of times they'll suggest actually that you do a couple of good sentences on the comprehension questions and then do the other ones orally. Sometimes some of them you do orally anyways. So that's how we do that. And those, I think he'll be able to do those. We might go at a little bit slower pace as far as reading, but he's doing really, really good with it, with the level that he's at. They also send usually a classical teacher's articles, little booklets, got all the different curriculum in there, but there's also these really, really good articles in here that are good for enrichment for you as a classical homeschool mom. So that's helpful. Now the Simply Classical, my 4th grader is going to be doing the other half of Latina Christiana this year. And I thought that these puzzles for Simply Classical might be more helpful for him. He gets really, really tired out with too much writing, really stressed out about it. So I'm trying not to do like some of the other Latin stuff is a little bit grueling for him, but these look more like right up his alley. So I've got the answer key. I have the answer key for this one. This is the Simply Classical Latina Christiana Games and Puzzles answer key, and then there's the booklet that you would use for that. So I got those 2 things for that. Hopefully that's helpful for him this next year. In my next box. Oh, okay. So my next box I just got recently. I just talked to the person in charge of Simply Classical, and she and I have been chatting for a couple years now. She's helped me out a lot with my kiddos, and one of the things that we were talking about is where do we go from here. So as far as writing, so my 2nd oldest was struggling a lot with writing and spelling this last year. So she showed me what we could do about that, and gave me some books that we could start with on writing, and his writing has improved a ton. So I took a picture of both of my older boys, their writing from the beginning of the year and the end of the year, and it was a drastic change. There's so much progress, and so I want to keep up with that and keep making progress. So she was able to tell me which ones to get for him. So let's see, I'm going to start with actually the stuff that I have for him. So there's a Simply Classical Curriculum Level 4 Composition and Grammar Lesson Plans. So the thing about Simply Classical is she has a ton of just lesson plans for certain subjects. So if you're just needing a certain subject for Simply Classical that they're struggling with, it's very helpful because she can point you to just the lesson plans for that subject. So this one's composition and grammar. And like I said, this is level 4, so that's what my second oldest, who's going into 4th grade, is going to use. And so he's going to use, for that, you need the Teacher's Manual for English 2, Preparing to Build, and it's the Rod and Staff English. So this is what it looks like, and basically we're going to keep working on writing good sentences, probably go into paragraphs, things like that. There's pronouns and nouns. There's oral drills in here, which is really helpful. And it's so simple. Like this book does not have much in the beginning to tell you. There's not a whole lot to read before you start teaching this, which is really different for me than some of the other books from Memoria Press. But what I do like is the whole lesson is written out for you on the side. So this is, like I said, the teacher's manual, and this is what you'll be doing. And so there's a little bit that they do for practice on their own, and then there's the rest of it you do together. So it's really, really simple and easy, and I think this is going to help increase our progress in writing and grammar. So that is what I have for him. Let's see, I think we can get the other book out for that. And so here's his book. It's a little bit smaller, so it's kind of looks the same. It just doesn't have, you know, the teacher's how you should teach the lesson on the side, obviously. So, and it is a Rod and Staff is a Mennonite company, I believe, that they use for math and for, obviously, for the Simply Classical, their English as well. So this has tests in it. So that's kind of like what the little test booklet looks like. It's really small, like that. So that's, again, level 2. And then my oldest, again, he is kind of going along with that level that I was talking about. For Simply Classical, we have a lot of things that are similar. So before he does Composition 1, we are going to actually go ahead and do exactly how they have it on there, which is the English for Building with Diligence for Rod and Staff. And this is the teacher's manual again and the student's book. And so it looks pretty much the same, but I think it goes, you know, a little bit more into detail and does some different things that are new to me, which is called, was it diagraphing? Yeah, diagraphing compound subjects and predicates. So honestly, we've already been doing a lot of this, and you kind of do it a little bit with Barton as well. So this will probably be pretty easy for him, I hope. So, but you know, he does a lot of repetition. So this will be my 6th graders thing before we start Comp 1. So like I said, that's kind of where we are with that. Then they also have these books in there for that level, and I thought I don't know if my big time reader guy will love these or not. My 4th grader loves reading, or if my oldest will be interested in them. I thought he would, but this is Detectives and Togas. So that looked really good, and it looked like something that they would both enjoy reading, actually. And then The Mystery of the Roman Ransom. So that one looks good as well. So a little bit of classical books here. I'm sure that those are good. Oh, and then there is some more things down here at the bottom for level 4 English. Yes. So the other things that I got for level 4 English are these worksheets that look a little bit like this, and it actually has them so you can tear them out. So if you do a notebook type system like I showed in the last video, you can just tear these out and put them in there for each day, or make copies, or whatever you're doing. So there's that. And then this is a test booklet for level 4 as well. So those things go with the level 4 Rod and Staff English. Then the last thing I have in this box is last 2 things I should say. Composition and Sketchbook 1. I don't know what we're going to use this for, but in his English, he has to write out some sentences. So I assume that we'll probably use that for this, or we'll use this for that, writing out his sentences. So you can see kind of the paper's still lined that way. I think that this is better for him at this point, so we'll see how that works, but you can see there's different composition and sketchbooks for different grades, and like I said, he's been struggling a lot with his writing, so kind of the bigger lines with the dots have been helping him a ton. So that's what you can go through and see all their different composition and sketchbooks, and this one says it's half ruled for 1st and 2nd grade. So a little bit behind on the composition, but we are gonna get where we need to go. So that'll be good. And then I have the Bible for the Christian Studies. We've already finished Christian Studies 1, and then we, as a family, we're doing it. We're just gonna do it as a family. And then this is Christian Studies 2. So if you haven't seen their Christian Studies, they have a 1, 2, and I believe 3. There could be more. But I know that the 1 and the 2 of the Christian Studies goes through the Old Testament. And then Christian Studies 3 is the New Testament. So there is other Christian studies as they go on, kind of the history of the church and different things like that. But it's more of a general study. So you could probably use it for any type of Christian. I mean, lots of different Christians out there, different churches. This is pretty basic. So if you wanted to add your own things, you can. Like we do a catechism with ours that we really like. So that is how we do that. And it's really, really easy to do. So you've got facts to know, different places in the Bible that you're reading about. There's a memory verse from what you read, and then there are comprehension questions as well, and some discussion and some geography that you're finding. And then over here you've kind of got a background of the story and maybe some extra activities or things on that side. Yeah, that is everything for this one. And then there's also some really awesome maps in the back that are helpful to, like it said, for the geography part of it. So that is everything that I got from Memoria Press. And then I also got some books that I'm going to share with you now, the ones that are more for older kiddos, for those that you're talking to about the birds and the bees. Well, this is written by doctors. These are written by 2 different doctors, Christian doctors. So it has kind of the doctor feel to it. So it's explaining how the body works and God, you know, how God made your body and things like that. I really, really like both of them. There might be some topics that you might need to talk about that maybe you don't agree exactly with, I don't know. But it suggests that you read the chapters together. So each chapter kind of has a question. And so let's see if I can find the first chapter and see here. I'm changing. What's happening to my body is the first question. So question 1 in the Ultimate Guy's Body Book. So each question is kind of answered through the first little chapter there. So they're not super long chapters and it's pretty easy. So my husband actually was going to go through this with my older boys, and then I did get the girls one, the Ultimate Girls Body Book, because we are getting closer to needing to have that talk for me and my daughter. So there's that one. So that's what those look like. So far, I've really, really liked each one of these books. So I would definitely recommend that you check them out. This one I read to everybody. It's called God Made All of Me, a book to help children protect their bodies. And I really highly recommend this one. It is not overly scaring the kids or anything like that. It's not overly descriptive of anything. It's just very helpful to get that conversation started of just protecting their bodies in a kind of kid-appropriate way, if that makes sense. So I really, really liked this book a lot, and I would definitely recommend it. The other 2 that I found was this one. See, I think there's more in this series. There's different ones, but this one's called Good Pictures, Bad Pictures, Porn Proofing Today's Young Kids. And new bonus downloads is what it says. So I guess there's some sort of downloads. I didn't see that, but this I definitely want to go through with my boys, because honestly, pornography is ruining a lot of marriages today, and it's highly important that you talk to your boys and your daughters about it, but definitely boys, because they are bombarded with this stuff. So this one here, I know that they have different books and different levels. This one I got, it's for ages 6 to 9. I don't even think I would do 6. I think that's a little young for this book. But it's How God Makes Babies. So this is the one that really describes the birds and the bees. But there's no pictures in it that are highly, let's see if I can show you one that's just, there's nothing that's highly inappropriate. Like, here's a picture of mama, you know, and the sibling is kissing the baby. That kind of thing. So there's nothing really graphic in this book. It's very simple. It's just how God makes babies, and it keeps it very simple. There is one picture. It's kind of like a cartoony picture. It's not graphic or anything like that, where it shows the boy parts and the girl parts so that you know what those look like. But other than that, I would suggest getting this book to help you talk about that subject. We have not read it yet to our oldest, and that's kind of where we're going to start, I guess, is talking to them about it. So I think that that's an important conversation that needs to be had, even with Christian parents. So I hope that that is helpful for you guys as you're checking these out and you're trying to decide. I think I'm gonna move on as far as Latin with my oldest. So Prima Latina, Latina Cristiana, and First Form Latin are all introductory courses, and I did not know that. I actually thought that he probably shouldn't move on to First Form Latin until he really had everything down, but I feel like each one is introductory, and so it depends on their age where they should start. So he has done Prima Latina and he has done half of Latina Cristiana, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just move him on to First Form, because that's where his grade level should start. So that's where he should start. So I think I'm going to be ordering that soon. If you are interested in seeing me do a flip through of the First Form Latin, go ahead and let me know down in the comments, and I will do that for you guys. Also, if you are doing some of Memoria Press, or you're wanting to do kind of a classical education, I highly recommend checking out their homeschool conference that is both in person and virtually, called Sodalitas. It's coming up in July. I'm super excited. It's always been helpful and encouraging to me. So hopefully you can check that out. They also, if you buy your virtual ticket, or if you go there in person, it is free shipping for you if you do the virtual. So that is super helpful. So if you are interested in seeing more homeschool videos, let me know down in the comments what you would like to see coming up. As I'm preparing for our next year, I'm kind of gonna have some preparing for the new homeschool year videos coming up, like a little series of those kinds of videos. So let me know if there's something specific you would like to see, a flip through of a certain book or some of the simply classical stuff. Let me know in the comments, and I will make sure that that happens. Can't wait to talk to you guys below in the comments, and I will see you guys again soon.